Lefties flap their lips about a Trump apocalypse. Donald Trump is sending Democrats into an existential panic over the very real possibility he could win the White House again. That's not saying much, of course, because they're always in a panic. And Whoopi Goldberg is here to say it's ours to lose.
I'm here to say it's ours to lose. It is this country. Either you want it to work forward thinking, or you don't. Or you want somebody who says, I'm going to be, on day one, I'm going to be a dictator. Who says it to you, tells you, I'm going to put you people away. I'm going to take all the journalists, I'm going to take all the gay folks, I'm going to move you all around and disappear you. If that's the country you want, you know who to vote for.
You got that? Whoopi says if Trump wins, he's getting rid of all the journalists and the gays. There goes half my staff. And we don't have any journalists. Meantime, radio host Charlamagne The God thinks President Biden has historically been, for lack of a better word, a elected official. But, you know, Donald Trump would be the end of democracy as we know it.
I think President Biden historically has been a lack of a better word, a elected official, but, you know, Donald Trump is the end of democracy as we know it. You've heard it so much because every time, you know, there's a Republican candidate, people say, oh, it's the end of democracy, he's the, people say, go so far as to say, oh, he's the Antichrist. But this is one of those times where, you know, it really actually positively is true.
You know, but if he's the God, he has no reason to fear the Antichrist. I don't get it. But to call Trump the Antichrist is excessive, at least while Dave Matthews still walks the earth.
Why?
And former MSNBC hack Chris Matthews warns this election is going to be close. It's going to be very close.
This election is going to be close. And it's going to be very close in a place like Pennsylvania. And you're going to have rural people out there voting their craziness about the cult. So you better be there to match them. And you got to be there to vote against that. And I'm telling you, this is really important that you vote for your rights.
The craziness about the cults. Okay, Grandpa. They're not even hiding their hatred for you anymore. It's out in the open for all to see, just like Hunter's Wang. And Obama's closest confidants say the former president also fears a close race. On the bright side, it's nice to see Obama afraid of something besides Michelle. So we're still 10 months away from Election Day, and the Dems have already pivoted from calling Trump Hitler to the Antichrist. But if this keeps up, they're going to have to call Trump a name that's even worse, like president. Tyrus, how will Trump get rid of the gays? I mean, he had 4 years to do it.
I don't know.
Now we have more gays.
Me and Jamie been trying for years. They keep popping up. They're clever.
Yeah, they're clever like that.
Always outsmarting us.
Yes, they are. Evil, sneaky gays. They're everywhere.
Oh, man, helping me dress appropriately. Always there when I'm sad. What the hell, man? You know, the Whoopi thing drives me crazy because she's so protected of these liberals and all this stuff. But this is the same group that you had to change your name to get a job. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's how they are. But yet he's the bad guy. Like, it's just important. And Charlamagne The God proved he's not God, because that's what happens when you speak your mind. When you're over on the other side and they control the rights to your TV show. Mm-hmm. You have to go to the principal's office. And he was talking like my son does when he's in trouble. But the lady said, so were you saying that Biden was bad? And he was like, well, yeah, I said he was bad, but Trump's way worse. He's so way worse. But yeah, he's a elected official and he's ruined the country, but Trump is, I'm going to say it. Trump is bad. He's the Antichrist. The uncomfortableness, because he was on his radio show, but now he's got his TV show, and they'll take all that away. Right. So he had to back down because he likes his shows. So he had to say that Biden's bad, but Trump's worse. But he he wasn't comfortable saying that Trump. Look at his body language. Like, that's uncomfortable. He made a choice to where he folded because he knew he's seen the results of being canceled. If he went on CNN and he just stopped that Biden is a bad president, it would be Charlamagne the Ghost. Because we would never see him again.
Kat, you know, how can, like, people not see that they're victims of a hysteria? It's like they could step out and go like, okay, I'm being completely idiotic right now. He's not the Antichrist. He's not Hitler. What is it about that?
Well, you know what's so interesting is that Charlamagne called Trump the Antichrist, but he's also been willing several times to criticize Biden. So, like, what is literally everybody else's excuse? You play that clip and you show Charlamagne. He's actually one of the more level-headed people out there because if you watch Whoopi, The View is a great example. Have they ever said anything critical about Biden? Maybe I missed it, but usually it's this over-the-top, unhinged criticisms of Trump because people view any criticism of Biden as somehow helping Trump because he's this horrible. And Charlamagne was right that when you say that over and over and over again, it really does kind of lose some of its luster. I feel like somebody calling someone the Antichrist would have in the past been like a bigger deal. Whereas this people are like, oh, they're doing it again. So I think a lot of people have just tuned it out and actually more than that, a lot of people they don't want to hear any criticism of Trump because that people have already lost their credibility in criticizing him.
Yeah, huge letdown, Biden, to the American people. There was a USA poll that said people aren't enthusiastic about voting for Biden the second time around. If you voted for him in 2020, you're not as enthusiastic. Yeah, well, no kidding. I mean, the only thing that he's excited about is maybe going to sleep, going to the bathroom. So huge letdown, open borders, numerous wars across the world. And still the economy. We had inflation data this morning. I know you love it when I talk about the economy. The inflation data confirmed your food costs are still up. Your rent is still sky high. And gas prices are still off the charts right now. And the American people know that. And so I think the Democrats' biggest bet is not in favor of Biden. It's against Trump.
Yeah. And you're right. Joe Biden is excited to go to sleep, but he's even more surprised when he wakes up.
True. Very true.
So is Dr. Jill.
Jamie, you must sympathize with Trump, often being called names unfairly.
I do sympathize with that. Also, I don't think we should attack Biden for being excited to go to sleep and go to the bathroom. I can't wait to do those things. You know what? Can I just be the one to say that Whoopi looks like she was getting a haircut and the power went out? So what I don't get is that they're like, oh, if Trump is president, it's the end of democracy as we know it. But he was president. Yeah. And it's not. Yeah. It hasn't been. Like, that's not true. If he was president, everything's fine. He could be president again. It's overstayed. I feel like I didn't like the terminology Whoopi used. I didn't like how she said that Trump was going to disappear gay. Like, who teaches her grammar? Tony Soprano? Like, disappear gay. Actually, did you know that Disappear Gays was the original name of the Siegfried and Roy Vegas show? Really?
On that note, we shall take a break.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.